Ko puki tāpapa te maunga, ko te manukau te whanga, ko tamaki makaurau te iwi, ko Chaucer te kura, ko Michael toko papa, ko Marie toko mama, ko Simon toko whānau ingoa, ko Auhe mama, toko rua aku tamariki, ko Jordan rawa, ko Bailey aku tamariki, ko Kelly toko ingoa, nō rei rā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. My name is Kelly Simon, and I work at Chaucer School. I'm currently the syndicate leader in the middle school and have a composite Year 3 and 4 class. I've been part of the Kōwhai Syndicate since I started 7 years ago. Our middle school inquiry is based around our whole school umbrella this year of Te Ao Māori. We use the Teaching as Inquiry model to base our query on. Our initial hunch was based around the ever-present discussion about underachievement in our Māori students, and we came up with the question, will having a school-wide focus of Te Ao Māori help to improve the underachievement tale in our Māori students? We put together a focus group across the 3 middle school classes of 13 students who identify as Māori in either their first or secondary ethnicity. The focus group was fairly evenly proportioned between both girls and boys and over Year 3 and 4 students. There is a huge amount of research available on the topic of underachievement in Māori and Pacifica students, but one distinct theme kept reappearing, and that relates to cultural identity. As referred to in a publication by Weber, McKinley and Hattie, racial ethnic identity plays an important part in a student's development. They also go on to say that a sense of belonging, or knowing who they are and where they fit in, plays a huge role in whether they will engage with their learning. Taking that information into account, we decided to amend our hunch and based our new question around self-confidence and cultural identity. We changed the focus of our inquiry into 2 separate but also connected areas. Firstly, we're going to look at the general self-confidence and self-image of our focus group. Secondly, we're going to look at the ability of the students to recite their pepeha, discuss their heritage and what they know about where they are from and their whānau stories. We will use hard data as well as general observations, and we'll do 2 formal sets of data collection, at the start and at the end of the year, but we'll be doing ongoing comparisons throughout the year. We started off by surveying the entire syndicate through giving them all this questionnaire. We got some very surprising results about how the students all saw themselves and have been able to use the information when dealing with specific students and situations. We have used this questionnaire as base data for our focus group, and again found that the results we gathered were very interesting. For example, this particular student has been the top academic student in the school for the entire year cohort in Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and now again for Year 4. He comes across as being very confident and competent in all areas of school life, but he rates himself only as being able to do things well, good at sports, and happy and cheerful as sometimes, which is very different from the way others would view him. Then we see another student. She is in the same family as the first student we just saw, and again comes across as being quiet, but a happy and well-adjusted young lady. We found it very curious that she sees herself as never being smart, careful at what she does, able to do things independently, or happy and cheerful. After looking at all the results for our focus students, we noticed an interesting trend of them all having quite a low impression of themselves. This quote from Weinstein tells us that when our Māori students have negative expectations imposed on them, either by society or by thinking poorly about themselves, this can have a massive impact on their academic ability and experience in an educational institute. I had the pleasure of listening to Tamati Patawai share some of his story about his journey through schooling, as well as life. His experiences and the feeling of whakamā that he felt as a young Māori boy that has been stripped of his culture most definitely had a very negative impact on his educational experiences as well as in his everyday life. Our goal is to try and ensure that our tamariki don't feel that whakamā, that they feel important and included, and that they have a sense of whakahihi or pride in who they are, where they come from, and their heritage. We started off by surveying the focus group of students and asked them these 3 separate questions. 2 relating to self-esteem and image, and the other about their heritage. When asked the question, how would other people describe you? These are some of the responses we got from our target group. You can hear that how they generally thought that other people saw them was positive.
Gorgeous, lovely, friendly. How happy I am to come from school. Happy, sporty, funny, positive, and a thinker. Not that good and sometimes good. And a wonder or a girl. A powerful, because every time I help my mom do the work inside the house. I talk a lot and I run faster than my brothers, and we do lots of fitness, and sometimes we do lots of reading, sometimes we don't. I have brown eyes, black hair, and I had brown skin. I was really kind and I was careful, and I would always love people that actually care about me. I was the goodest kid in the family. Handsome, smart, helpful and kind, funny, probably happy most of the times, imaginative and creative.
When they were asked the question, how would you describe yourself? The answers we got were not as positive.
I like to read books and play sports with my friends. Reading, writing, listening, dancer. I'm cheeky, funny, and smart. I like soccer and coloring, drawing and making and llamas. Forget to do what I'm supposed to do and go work at school, but at home I'm a little bit different to work. I talk a lot. I don't play with my brothers. I sneak my brother's laptop. I am brown. I was white when I was a kid, but then I started turning brown. Good looking. Smart. I have enough friends. I'm good at work. I watch TV a lot.
This 3rd clip is from when the children were asked if they could tell me about their ancestors, where they're from, and if they could tell me their pepeha. The majority of students had a small understanding, but not one student was able to share their pepeha.
I live from New Zealand and I live at Blockhouse Bay. I speak Samoa, Māori, Cook Highland, English. My mountain is, what would it be? Samoan, New Zealand, China. I don't have a pepeha. I don't know where my mom comes from or my dad, but my river is I forgot. My mountain is Mount Rockpool. I know lots about my ancestors. That they have a canoe and they went on it and went to some stuff, and they ride the canoe to some other places that are pretty cool. After that, they stopped their canoe and then they went to Mount Maunganui, that's my mountain. And they had this marae, I don't know what it's called, but they went there and then they had some more dinner and played some games and they read some books.
I told you I don't know. I don't know my Pipaha lot. I tell most people where I'm from and about my family. Sometimes I write in my stories. I'll probably know my Pipaha soon.
As the year progressed, but taking into account both of the lockdowns throughout the year, you could see the students' confidence growing. Our focus group of students even started asking to lead the syndicate Waiata. We also found that students were going home and having those important discussions with their whānau about where they were from. And then they were very excited to come and share that information.
Great grandpa, he was the chief of Maori, and his name was Chief Hui, and so my mom told me, but we didn't have any proof to make it, or because we can't online if we don't have proof. And but we're still happy that our family had a chief of Maori, so that made me happy as well.
This student came to school and was so excited to tell me about some research he'd been doing into his ancestors. He was so proud of having a chief in his family and told everyone that would listen. In these next few slides, we can look at the comparison of the self-awareness survey from the start of the year and the end of the year. This student at the start of the year marked themselves in the almost always column for able to do things well, careful at what I do, and being friendly. And at the end of the year, they thought they did these things always. Feeling smart also moved from sometimes to almost always. This child at the start of the year had marked themselves as never thinking they were smart, careful at what they did, able to do things independently, or happy, cheerful, and popular. This view of themselves changed by the end of the year, and they thought that they were sometimes smart, sometimes careful at what they did, sometimes able to do things independently, and almost always happy and cheerful. As shown in this quote, we can see that self-esteem and self-confidence play a huge role in all areas of a child's life. Their image of themselves, whether positive or negative, can impact their ability to learn, the way they behave and interact with others, and even affect their mental health. When asked at the start of the year, none of our focus group was able to share their pepeha. We wanted to ask them again at the end of the year and see whether they had learnt it or were able to share either part or all of their pepeha.
No.
Ko Jasmine tuko mama, ko Stefan tuko papa, ko Romeo tuko ingoa.
Ko Rahi te manga, ko Waitangi te awa, ko Napui te iwa, ko Daniel toko papa, ko Yvonne toko mama, ko Aroha toko ingoa.
Ko Taranaki tuku mauna, ko Ngārauru tuku awa, ko Ngāti Maika tuku apu, ko Taitua tuku papa, ko Kao tuku mama, ko Kingi tuku wānau, ko Taitua tuku ingoa.
We then asked them what they thought they had gotten better at during this year. Of course, we need to take into account the fact that a big part of the year has been spent at home due to lockdowns, so we haven't had the usual amount of time both with the students or in the classroom. This is what they said.
Spelling and reading words. I'm good at math, writing, reading, and making new friends. I've got better at math, performing arts, and classwork.
So I've been getting better at sports, doing my work, and talking to adults.
I've gotten better of doing, like, going up on stage when with more people than usually more people than my class, and gotten better at talking to more people than I usually talk to, helping people get out of their anger.
I'm more confident with I think I used to like not talk with people that much, but now I like talk with them a lot, and they're probably sick and tired of me talking to them when I talk to them a lot. So I've gone better at soccer, playing soccer, my catches, swimming, and reading books. Like, they're not quicker now.
After discussing our findings together as a syndicate, this is what we concluded. We had a year-long school-wide focus on Te Ao Māori. During the year, the students learnt about themselves and where they were from. Initially, they needed this information so they could write their pepeha. Through asking their whānau for this specific information, they then started asking more questions, finding out more information, getting a real sense of who they were and where they were from, and who their ancestors were. They then were willing and excited to share what they had discovered. This then had a flow-on effect. Knowing who they were and where they fitted into their worlds gave them greater confidence in themselves. This confidence and self-esteem then had positive, measurable impact on their learning and interactions within the school setting. The focus on learning about their heritage has had a very positive ripple effect throughout our syndicate and is something that we will be continuing in years to come.